Hello everybody and welcome to my second Access 2013 tutorial. And this tutorial I'm going to go into the different data types you can use when creating your tables. Now the most important thing that you should remember when you're choosing your data types is to choose the one that takes up the least amount of memory, whilst not giving you any kind of constraints that you don't want in your table, because the less memory your table takes up, then the quicker your database is going to run, and obviously the less memory it's going to take up on your drive. So let's go into the different data types. So I'm going to go back into my table, into design view, and you'll notice that I've hidden the ribbon at the top, just to give us some more space. If you want to bring it back, you just click on something and then click on this little pin and it will pin it back on. But I've just collapsed it using that arrow to give myself some more room. So when we're putting in our field names, I've been filling in this data type field, and you've got a little drop down and it's got a list of the different data types that you can have in your table. Let's start off just looking at the different type of numbers. So in here I've used a long integer. And a long integer is an integer. Oh, I've just changed it by double clicking. An integer is any whole number, so you can't have any decimal points. So if I tried to store a decimal point in that field, it would just cut the decimal point off and just leave me with the number. The long integer just means that I can store more information in it. If you know you're not going to need the larger amount, then go on to integer, but I'm going to leave mine as long integer. If you want a decimal point, then generally you use double, and this gives you quite a few decimal places that you can use, or you can use single, which will give you slightly fewer. And those are the only ones you're really going to use for numbers. It's just integer and double. So I'm going to leave this one as an integer because I don't want a decimal point in it at the moment. You can change the format of it. So if you want, you can put it, if you want it as a currency format, then you can put that in there. Or you can just have it as a kind of general number. You can also, if you've got a double, then you can change the number of decimal places. So we can make it so you can only store kind of a limited number, and it goes all the way up to, what does it go up to? 15 decimal places you can choose from. I'm just going to leave it on autofill, and back to long integer. So the decimal places is going to be 0. The rest of the stuff I'm not going to come on to yet. When we're working with text, the main one we're looking at is this field size down here. So this is the number of characters or letters, including spaces, any white space, that you can store in that text field. The maximum you can set it to is 255. So let's say we're going to put some notes in as a field, and we want to store more than 255 characters. The way we're going to get around this is we're going to change it to a long text, and if you're using older versions of Access, then this will be called memo. Let's just pull it back into our screen a bit. So now in this one it hasn't got the text size like this one does, because it's stored as a long text, which just means we can put essentially as much text as we want. I've never reached the limit on the text of the long text. What you've got to remember is try and keep your field size as small as possible. So we know on username that people aren't going to have a name that's that long, so let's set it down to 64 characters. And the city, probably even less, so let's just set that down to 32 characters. Because we don't need that extra text in the field, so let's just shorten it down. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to do a date. So let's put in our date/time. And let's just call this birth date. And this just gives you a kind of standard date, and you don't really need to change much with it once you've done it. You can change the format of it down here, but that's just going to change the it's not really going to change what's in the field. It's just going to change how it looks like. The date/time is stored as a date serial, the same as when you put a date in Excel. So it's not going to store it in your memory as this month of this year. It's going to store it as the number of days since the 1st of the 1st 1900. And if you've got a time, then it will do it as a decimal point. So 12 o'clock midday would be 0.5 of a day, and kind of 6 o'clock in the morning would be 0.25. So I'll probably come on to them later on a bit more when we go through queries, because there's quite a lot of things you need to be careful of when you use dates and times in your query. And then the next one I want to go through, if you want to do your currency, this is pretty much just the same as number, except it automatically does all of the currency format for you. So you can use that or whichever one. Auto number I'm going to come on to when I go through primary keys. So let's go into our yes/no, and let's do it as it's just going to be a yes or no option. So let's just do likes cake, yes/no. And the rest of them I'm not going to show you yet because I don't want to. So let's save our table now. Press save. And it's saying that one of the fields has been changed to a shorter size. So if you change a field after you've created it, it's going to change all the data types in that field. So in this example, if I had any text over the size I've changed it down to, it would remove it. I'm going to press yes because I know my text is going to fit in that anyway. And then let's just open up our table. You notice now that we've got these extra fields in here. The date, you get a nice little calendar that you can select from, which is nice. And the notes, we can just fill in any notes we want. You might want to switch things around, so you can actually do this in your datasheet view, just like this. But what you want to be careful of is when we come on to kind of SQL, sometimes you don't want to be switching these table things around too much. So try not to let your users do that really. But I want to have my notes at the end because I know it's going to be quite a big column. There we go. And the likes cake, you can just tick on and off. So that's Bruce and myself like cake. I like cake a lot. So that is the basics of data types. If you've got any questions about the different data types and things, then feel free to drop them in the comments below or chuck them on our forum in the description. And if you're enjoying these tutorials, please subscribe to us. We release new videos every Wednesday, and they'll just keep you up to date with all the new things that we release. So thanks for listening, and I hope to catch you soon.